Now, we are currently living throughout this ongoing pandemic. How has COVID-19 impacted everyday life for yourself and your workers at Biondi Santi?
Well, we needed to adapt as everyone, of course. So at the beginning, it has been quite stressful
Yes,
because organizing the work, organizing the countryside. And of course, the pandemic started in March, and March is the month where nature explodes.
yes.
So we were really, there has been a few months where we were really lost, let's say. And, but we have put a very strict, and strict parameters to follow
Yes.
even for our workers to be safe for us and for them as well. And since that moment, let me say that we're working quite well. Unfortunately, of course, it's harder because everyone is with a mask. There is no physical contact with anyone. It's different, of course, but we needed to adapt. And after over a year since the beginning of the pandemic, I can say that we adapted quite well to this situation. We had to adapt, but we adapted quite well. And of course, it affected all the human relations, even with our workers, even with the people over here. What I can see is that people are much more stressed on the work and on their daily life, and so it's something to be care about. It's we need to be all to be more patient. We need to understand the other people, because everyone is living a different situation, of course, and different moments. But luckily, it has been quite successful for us, and we didn't have any problem over here. So we have been very lucky.
I would imagine that a major quotient of your sales go to restaurants and the like. How have you seen the pandemic impact your sales, both domestically and for export?
Well, that has been one of the biggest challenges, of
Right.
course, because the domestic market have, let me say, in some places have collapsed
Really?
completely, and in some other places has been slow, but still not stopping completely. There are some cities in Italy that were living with tourism, of course, that has been closed since over a year right now, and they are working just a little bit, and it's a very stressful situation in that case. There are other places like seaside places, like holiday places where Italians are still going, and they have saved themselves, let's say. The point is that we needed to adapt to, of course, the closure of the restaurants, and even to these laws that daily are coming out and are changing and affecting, of course, the market here in Italy. And one thing that I can say that have changed completely, not only nowadays and not only with the pandemic, but even in the future, has been the online sales. So the B2B world has, B2C world has exploded, and has exploded thanks to the online websites.
Right.
Who has paid attention to these websites in the past years have found a really incredible result in these difficult years. And for example, with the online sales here in Italy, we have registered 2019 to 2020 an increase of 350% of sales.
Well,
So it's a huge market coming out, and it's not only it came through a necessity, but it's something that I think it will be stable in the future and it will work in the future. So it's incredibly comfortable to be related with the brand, to know, for example, Sassoloro. I know Sassoloro, And I know that there is a wine shop, I don't know, a few kilometers far from my house. I don't have time to go to take the bottle over there. I order it online.
Right,
And that,
right.
that of course, it's a commodity, and it's a plus that the online market is able to give. And it's something that I think it will build a new world of sales in the future, not only for wine, but for everything.
I'm curious as to the breakdown between your domestic and export sales. I never asked you that previously.
It has been difficult, of course, because dialing with some importers has been tough and difficult. Every country have lived the different, completely different situations.
Yes. Yep.
There are importers. We have had importers that haven't made any order, for example, and they shut down everything. We have had importers that were already, for example, selling with the onlines and the websites, and they were lucky and they discovered a newer potential to grow during this pandemic. Of course, it's a tough situation, but the world is going through this situation, and we need to get out as soon as possible, I hope. But we're still working quite well with the export. Luckily, we didn't lose any point from 19 to 20. Of course, it's something that it can't last for 2 or 3 years more. We all hope.
Yes, yes.
But it can affect the business at any level. So we really hope it's gonna last as short as possible.
With regards to lockdown, how are things in Italy at the present moment in time?
Lockdown, the first one was quite hard, the one in March 2020. It has been quite hard because we shut it down completely, Italy, for 2.5 months.
Yes, yes, I remember.
So everything was closed. We were quarantined in our houses, and no one could go out. Luckily, here in the countryside, it was a little bit less tough, but still it has been very, very hard. The economy, of course, has collapsed in just one jump. And then we have had a period in 2020 during summertime where we have reopened. Life was looking as it was coming back to normality.
Yes.
Then, of course, autumn and winter, it went back again. So we locked down several times. We adopted these different colors for regions in Italy. It was quite hard to follow. Sometimes you were white, sometimes you were yellow, orange, or red. It was quite difficult even to understand which color was Tuscany at that moment.
Yes, yes, yes.
But luckily we went through that period, and now we are slowly reopening everything.
And so your restaurants are open right now as normal?
They are open. They have been opened just in yellow zone during the past, and of course with all the COVID regulations. So
Yes.
distance on tables, maximum 4 people per table. And right now we had a changement on the rules 2.5 weeks ago, and all the restaurants are open, but only restaurants who can give you food outside of the restaurant.
I see.
So there is no possibility to eat for lunch and at dinner inside the restaurants. But I mean, it's for who is lucky to have space outside. At least it's reopening, and lunch and dinner right now.
I'm rather envious of your situation because we can't even eat on patios right now. Oh well. Yeah, I always like to leave these interviews on a bit of an up note, because we always touch on COVID, which is a little bit dark and worrying and stressful. But what is the best thing, the most valuable thing that you have learned throughout these months, this year and a bit of the pandemic?
The synergies with people, knowing people, trusting people. It has been incredible to see the restaurants that we are taking care a lot about, the restaurants who are friends, the restaurants who loves your brand and have always worked with your brand. Synergy with them, I think it's the key to get out from the economy crisis that we're
Right.
in now. Because we are all in the same boat. We cannot escape from this. We are all in the same boat. We just need to push and go all in the same way. And synergies, friendship, and reliability, it's something in between people, I'm saying. It's something that I think I have learned more and more during this pandemic. And it's something that I think it's incredibly important to pass through the economy crisis.
That's a very good point there. Thank you so much for joining us today, Tancredi. And hopefully at some point in the future, once things open up, we can get together for a glass of wine in Toronto. Or indeed in Siena. It's
absolutely, Jamie. Absolutely. Whenever you want, you are invited over here. When things will reopen, you are more than welcome to come even here in Montepo, and we will let you taste all our wines.
Oh, I would love that. I would love that. In the meanwhile, take care of yourself, and thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Jamie. You too.
Take care. Bye for now.